Hey guys, what's going on? Abby here. Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. In today's video, I'm actually going to be walking you guys through the K1 crew quarters. Now, in my other Lost Sector videos, I went through every single class. This one, we're only going to do Titan because of this chest piece. I wanted to get this video out quickly. It's still not out very early in the day, but if you guys are going to get to it later on in the evening or whatever time zone it is for you, hopefully this can be of help. If you guys want to see the other class run-throughs of this Lost Sector, let me know. But this is K1 crew quarters on the moon. It is the 1300 Lost Sector today until noon Eastern time on the 15th, and then it'll be back around in probably 5 days or so. I'm not sure of the schedule now that they've added these two moon Lost Sectors in there as well. But let's take a look at the modifiers. For champions, we have Barrier and Overload. There are actually 3 Barrier Servitors and 2 Overload Captains. And then we're going to have Hot Knife, which means the Shanks are going to all have Solar Shield, so make sure you bring a Solar Weapon or subclass. The Destination modifier is plus Void and Aerial damage taken, and let me tell you, the aerial damage is brutal. And then we also have a burn of arc damage. So for our Titan build, we're actually going to be going Stasis subclass. I really love freezing enemies in the Lost Sectors. It allows for you to make some cover using that Glacial Nade and mitigate a lot of the damage. And then for weapons, we're going to be using a pretty similar loadout to a lot of my other Lost Sector guides. These are really easy to farm weapons. We've got the Night Watch in our primary slot, which is our anti-barrier weapon. And then we've got Risk Runner, which is our exotic and also anti-overload weapon. And this is a fallen Lost Sector, so Risk Runner is absolutely amazing in this Lost Sector. I actually tried a few other SMG scout kind of combos with sniper rifles as well, and I found that Risk Runner was just so much better because you are constantly taking arc damage in this Lost Sector. So not only are you going to get damage resistance, you're also going to be chaining that damage to other enemies. It allows you to just go in on the overloads and not stop firing. So if you haven't done the Risk Runner quest yet, you can go do it and get the weapon, get the catalyst, and you're good to go. And then for our heavy slot, we're actually going to be using Thermal Erosion, which is a solar LMG from Europa. Now, if you don't have Thermal Erosion, you can use whatever you want solar in that slot. Because we're not using a solar subclass, we need something solar to take care of the solar shielded Shanks. So we're going with an LMG because we need something that's fairly long range, because there's a couple Shanks that are like across the way. After the second room, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I would suggest using an LMG or a rocket launcher. If you have one of those, could work as well. In the primary slot, you could also use a sniper with anti-barrier if you want. Just keep in mind that in the artifact, that mod costs 6 energy to slot it into your arm slot. So for a lot of people, that's going to take away some stat rolls possibly. So just keep that in mind if you are going to use sniper. But let's get into the Lost Sector commentary. So you can see the first room is pretty much just Risk Runner and then a little bit of our LMG. Once we get into this room, you have to really make sure to keep your head on a swivel so that none of these ads are coming up behind you, because they spawn at weird times, and there are some sniper vandals way in the far back that once they spawn, they will snipe you like crazy. Also, the invisible marauder guys that are shooting that solar damage are super brutal, so make sure you prioritize them if they are not immune by the barrier servitor. For the most part, I try to predict when the barrier is going to put up his shield, using Risk Runner to damage him and the ads around him, and then swapping to my Night Watch to break the barrier. You want to try to be a little bit aggressive with that barrier servitor because he is going to immune a lot of the ads, so it can make it really difficult to burn him down if you're constantly being shot. You could also run the Titan exotic Titan's Ramparts where you can shoot through your barrier. That might help with those guys as well. And then onto the end of this outside area, we've got an Overload champion that we just burned down with Risk Runner, no problem. And then, like I mentioned before, you're going to have 2 solar Shanks across the way there, and you can't really jump over to kill them because aerial damage is insane in this Lost Sector. So that's why we're using an LMG. It makes it easier to kill. I used rockets for a little bit, but I noticed that sometimes I would miss, or you know, stuff happens with rockets, but go ahead and use them if you're comfortable with rockets. And then we've got a barrier servitor. Now you could kind of go up on that right side and have some cover, pop your super, and then go at them there. But I decided to save my super for the final boss. These servitors regen their health really quickly when their barrier goes up, so make sure you're swapping back and forth from Wrist Runner to Scout and try to predict as best as you can. Right now we're in the boss room, and you can see the heavy shank down there. That is our boss. We're going to get one more barrier servitor that's going to come out around half health when the boss is half health. And so while we're arc conducted, we're just going to use that to our advantage. Just put some shots into the boss. When he gets about 2/3, that's when our champion, there we go, our champion has appeared. So I'm going to pop my super and try to take out the barrier servitor. Now I'm not a Titan main, so please don't roast me in the comments for my stasis super. But we're just going to keep punching him till he's dead. He's dead. And we're dead because, you know, we don't really have anywhere to go. But that's fine because the barrier servitor is dead. And he is more of a final boss in here than the actual final boss. Now, I will say the final boss in this lost sector is tankier than a lot of the other lost sectors. I think because it's a nightmare. So if you see the other mini nightmare drag dudes, you can kill them and pick up a buff that they drop to do additional damage to the boss, but it can kind of put you in a sketchy situation. So I like to just kill the boss. You can just take your time, do what you gotta do, and that's it. And that is it for the 1300 K1 crew quarters lost sector on the moon. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go out there and get you some exotic chess pieces today, and or whatever other exotic pieces it is in the rotation when you're watching this. Appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Give it a like if you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.